Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 2 In Depth. In today's episode, we're talking about the most dangerous piece of lethal equipment in the game, the C4. I've been avoiding this one for a little bit because the math on it works out to be somewhat funny. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but for now, let's jump right into the nuts and bolts of the C4 lethal equipment. It has a blast radius of 256 inches. For those of you that are good at math, you'll know that that's a little bit over 7 yards, or about 6.5 meters. It's quite a large radius, although, it feels that way, but all of the other pieces of equipment have the same radius. This is the same radius as the frag, Semtex, Betty, C4, all that kind of stuff, but it blows up in a spherical fashion. The only one that doesn't blow up spherically is the Betty. The Betty has a sort of ovular disc-shaped thing going on because it only blows up at chest height, but this blows up in a perfect sphere like a ball, so it'll go 256 inches down, left, right, up, forward, backward, any kind of direction, just a big old sphere in space, which gives you a very large damage radius. The damage on this one is 205 in the very center, and it drops off to 75 at the end. This is more than the C4 in Black Ops 1. It is a very, very dangerous thing. Matter of fact, most of the explosives in this game hit harder than the Black Ops 1 explosives, but that's neither here nor there. You'll notice that this is very slightly more than the frag grenade. I linked down in the description the episode where I compared frag and Semtex. This is considerably more dangerous than the Semtex grenade, but only a smidgen more dangerous than the frag grenade. The lethal radius on this is 207 inches, or about 5.1 meters. The lethal radius is the radius at which you're actually going to kill somebody. Anybody at 208, 209, 210 inches further away, they're going to take a lot of damage, 98, 99, 97, whatever, but they're not going to die. This is the radius where you are guaranteed a one-hit kill, 5.1 meters. It's really, really large, and it's very similar to that of the fragmentation grenade. Matter of fact, it was so similar, I decided to go and test it. Here we have C4 on the top and J-Hub holding down a frag grenade at the bottom. Oh Lord O is our targeting dummy, and you'll see that at just about the same range, they both get a one-hit kill. I know I wobbled my camera right there, but they're standing in the same places, so you get a sense of how large that radius is and how dangerous it can be. One of the things that surprised me is that it wasn't greater than the fragmentation grenade, because for the life of me, I could have sworn that the C4 was more dangerous than the frag, and it should definitely kill people more than the frag, and I believe this is because the C4 seems to damage flak jacket users more than other grenades. Side by side, one by one, the C4 seems to kill more people with flak jacket than the Semtex or the frag does, even though they do extremely similar damage up close, and I don't know why that is. Maybe there's a programmed in buffer, maybe the C4 ignores a percentage of flak jacket, maybe something's going on, but my personal experience and the experience of others, matter of fact the advice I get when I complain about flak jacket is that I should use C4 more often. The C4 seems to have some sort of negating effect on flak jacket, so do keep that in mind. It's going to work about the same on normal people, but I promise you C4 is going to work a little bit better for some reason on flak jacket users. The impact damage on the C4 is 15. This is the same as the impact damage of all the other grenades in the game. If you bonk somebody with it, if you smack them with that big piece of plastic explosive, it's going to do 15 damage. Probably not going to kill anybody like this. I actually got one in this game. It was kind of funny. It's rare, but it happens. It's funny. It's not. You probably shouldn't go for hitting people. It's not going to help you kill them with the C4, because if they're close enough to it, it's going to get them anyway. That's all for the C4 numbers. In the last bit of the episode, I'd appreciate it if you'd not wait for the textual cues and just kind of listen to me explain how the C4 works or why it's so dangerous. The number one thing about C4 is that it's very difficult to dodge. People like to roll their frag grenades, so you usually see an indicator and you have some time to dodge. Some people are good at bursting them, but you usually have some ability to dodge a frag. A Semtex has the same countdown timer no matter what, almost, and it beeps, and it's really easy and obvious to see, very easy to avoid. Same with Bettys and Claymores, they kind of sit there. C4 you throw, it's relatively short range. You can double tap X on Xbox. I think it's square on PC, I can't remember. Just double tap your reload button, whatever that is, and it'll detonate it in there in midair. You can throw multiple of them. You can detonate different places. But the thing is, you can detonate them very, very quickly. You can just chunk them and airburst them, or chunk them and detonate as soon as they're close to somebody. And because of this, C4 doesn't necessarily have a good counter. There's no easy way to dodge a C4, even if you see it coming, because the blast radius is the biggest and most dangerous in the game. It has that sort of negating effect with flak jacket, and the person that threw it at you can control when he wants to detonate it. This makes it an extremely lethal piece of equipment. A lot of people C4 check a room, they just chunk in a C4, detonate real quick, and blow up everybody that's in there. This is what you see in league play, stuff like that, and the very competitive teams will do this. I think the C4 could use a slight nerf. I think that there should be a countdown delay, like maybe something like a quarter second, half a second, third of a second, something so that when you throw the C4, you don't airburst it in your face. I've seen people kill themselves almost with that kind of nonsense, so it could use a little bit of balancing. It's also a tactical piece of equipment. Kind of like a Betty or a Simtex or something, you can toss this up in crazy positions to guard flags, objectives, key areas, and when you know somebody's there, either because of your radar, your UAV, your whatever it is that you know that the objective set indicators or your teammates are calling it out, you can just detonate that on the fly, blow up a flag, blow up your flag if you're doing CTF, a hard point, anything. It's very, very effective. It can be taken down by trophy system, and Flak Jacket helps you against it, but it doesn't protect you. So I would recommend using C4. I would say that it's a good piece of equipment. You've seen me derp a little bit with it. It's not my personal piece of equipment, not my favorite thing to use, because I like the kind of quick chunk and go of the Simtex, even though it's the weakest. But it is incredibly dangerous, mostly because you have absolute control over your explosives. Well, guys, that's all for this episode of In Depth. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something useful. If you'd like to check out my previous episode of In Depth on mistakes, you can click the box on the left. It'll open in a new window. I have an app down in the App Store that's going to teach you how to build classes better if you're interested in that. We have links down in the description. The next episode is going to be your choice. I consider myself to be kind of done with In Depth at this point. I've covered all of the technical subjects, and I'm doing the rest of them at my leisure. If there's something you want to know about, leave it down there in the comments, in the description, or whatever. I'll read it. We'll get to it. As always, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.